nooses were found hanging from the tree, and 3 white students deemed responsible were suspended. On March 30th, an unknown arsonist set fire to the school, and on December 4th, 6 black students beat a white student unconscious. They were initially charged with attempted murder, but that was later reduced. One of the 6, Michael Bell, was convicted of battery in June. He's still in jail. Let's go to CNN's Tony Harris. He's in Jena right now. He's watching all of this. Pretty emotional day out there. Huge protest. Update our viewers, Tony. What happened?
Oh, boy. Wolf, we got here sort of the crack of dawn, even hours earlier. Pitch black outside when we sort of arrived on the scene here outside of the courthouse here in LaSalle Parish, Jena, Louisiana. And I've got to tell you, folks were arriving even at that early hour here local time. Hundreds of people here initially before the crack of dawn, and the crowd just throughout the day just continued to build. You can't imagine what it's been like for us as part of this to cover this, to ride this sort of crest of emotions, as this town of about 3,000 people has played host, not necessarily willingly, to as many, at least in one report, as many as 60,000 people. This is a small town of about 3,000 people. So just imagine the scene at one point today when we had 2 groups, one group led by the Reverend Al Sharpton, another group led by Jesse Jackson, converging right in front of this courthouse. What a scene, literally a sea of humanity. And we've been following this roller coaster of emotions throughout the day. And we've also been hearing rumblings throughout the day that there might be some developments in the case of Michael Bell, who you mentioned just a moment ago. And last hour, I just want to update you on the news that we brought you last hour in the Situation Room. The 3rd District Court of Appeals here in Louisiana has ruled that there should be a habeas hearing, and I'll break that down for you in just a second, a habeas hearing in the next 72 hours for Michael Bell, who, 17 years old now, was 16 at the time of the attack, what many consider a vicious attack, in December of last year. So that hearing will take place here in the next 72 hours, and what that really means is that Michael Bell will be brought to court, and there will be a determination as to whether or not Michael Bell will remain in custody. We will see if that rolls into the weekend, but that is the development on the legal front in terms of the emotions of the day. I just want to show you behind me, Wolf. Hard to imagine, as you take a look at this site here, that just a couple of hours ago, literally thousands of people here out in front of this courthouse building.
Well, given the emotions, Tony, I know law enforcement was very nervous. There could have been incidents. Was it peaceful? Was there any violence?
Oh, you can't believe how peaceful it was, and there were all kinds of concerns. But 2 notes on that. The people who gathered here came here out of a sense of peace, it seems to me. We heard a number of people say this wasn't about a protest. It wasn't necessarily about a demonstration. Clearly it was. But for many folks here, it was more of a pilgrimage. And then you've got to hats off to the state troopers here, Louisiana state troopers here, who did a wonderful job. Just a quick note, the permits for these rallies here timed out 3 hours ago in some cases, and yet the events here were allowed to unwind and end at their own pace, at their own time. The police were magnificent here, Wolf.
All right, good. I'm glad it worked out. Thanks very much, Tony Harris on the scene. He's been reporting from there all day. Let's continue this story. Our internet reporter, Abby Tatton's been monitoring support for the Jena 6 online. What are you seeing, Abby?
Wolf, we've been looking at the forums, the blogs and websites that have been setting up this support, getting people out to the rallies today. We've seen from them that these rallies and events are not just happening in Jena. Take a look at the iReports we've been getting in today. This first one here is coming in from Alabama State University, from Melvin Bridges Jr., a sophomore there at that school. He said more than 400 people showed up at this rally today and said it was exciting to be in Montgomery, Alabama for this event today. And now to Atlanta, Georgia, to Lovejoy High School. This from Morgan Craven. This was Mr. Eaton's 4th period biology class, she says, today. They've been getting together, pooling their money, raising funds for the Jena 6 Legal Defense Fund today. Wolf.
Abby, thanks very much. Jena, Louisiana is a classic American small town. It has just 4 stoplights, but surrounding LaSalle Parish has more churches per capita than any other Louisiana parish. At the time of the 2000 census, Jena had 9,971 residents, 85% of them white, 12% African American. Fewer than 15% had a college degree, 52% were unemployed. Kira Phillips, by the way, hosts a Special Investigations Unit report tonight called Judgment in Jena. It airs 8 p.m. Eastern. Up ahead, the Republican mayor of a major